Alright, so we're going to finish off strong. I'm going to continue coloring in the last two Japanese dwarf flying squirrels. Let's get right to it. Alright, so we'll start with the second guy now. And we will use the same color. And I used a different layer than the first paint. That way I can manipulate this gray as needed. But I'm looking forward to posting these guys on Instagram. And then I'm going to also draw some praying mantises because I got a lot of requests for a praying mantis. And also some more palace cats because I'm kind of blown away by how popular they were. And they were actually really, really fun to draw. I thought it was going to be a struggle, but it was a lot of fun. I don't usually go all out and paint as much because I really love sketching. How did I make his? Okay, so he has. I have to remember the well, not remember. I just have to. I guess I can just revert to this one. But I'm going to try to get these done faster than I got the first one done. The first one took me a long time. But then again, I was figuring out all the facial colorations and things like that. And that can kind of take a while. Okay, let's see. So he has a little bit of gray there. I don't know if you can hear my better half out there. Alright, let's see. Alright. And down here is gray. Give him gray feet as well. All right. I'm just going to do the same thing with this guy. Oops. trying to hang out with y'all and do some drawing, and people just come right on in and just think they can just bother anybody. I guess that's the world we're living in. Alright. Gray hands. One thing I learned from Instagram is as much as I like doing a lot of different animals, there's just some that are just going to be way more popular than others that really do well. And I have to say, cats are really, really up there. All types of cats. Big cats, cheetahs, palace cats, lions. They really do well. Let's see here. We'll give him that, and then we'll give him a little bit of a we'll give him something like that. He doesn't really have that much, actually, but that's okay. And this guy actually has... No, you know what? I think that's all right. So let me just give him... It's right there. Let me give him something on his other gray foot. Okay, why is it not letting me... Why is it not letting me color on that foot? Is it alpha locked? I'm a little confused right now. Oh, I'm in Eraser. Duh. It's always something, right? So I guess this is technically more just like a live stream. Okay, so that's looking good. They seem like they're a little like browner, like a little more toasted. Alright. Here we go. Whites of his eyes. And give him a nice shadow. I don't know, I love making the little shadow. I don't know what it is, but I love it. I'm going to alpha lock the white of his eye, and then I'm just going to add in a little, whoopsie-daisies, it's a little too dark. Yes, I just said whoopsie-daisies. It's not the first time. There you go, give him that 3D look. Go a little darker just to add a little more shape to that eyeball, just a little bit. Is that too much? No, I think that's good. That's good. Alright, so they're a little toasted. You know what, for him I'm going to use... Should I use stubble or should I use noise brush? I might use noise brush. I might go crazy. I'm just going to do it right on this layer. Let me make sure this is the right one. Nope. Alright, so I'm choosing the layer that has all of this gray. So I'm choosing this layer. Alpha lock. And let's see what a noise brush looks like up here. A little more, a little lighter. There we go. Alright, so just a little bit lighter. Just to kind of... I do the snap so I can line up the audio in the video. FYI. Okay, so now that I'm not being bothered anymore, I can finish up what I was doing. I feel like I can make it even lighter. I feel like maybe he has beige over his ears. Does that look weird? Too much yellow. Okay. So mostly I'm just having fun with this. I mean, you kind of just have to feel out what looks right a lot of times. It's not bad. Looks like their hands are a little pinkish actually, so I'm gonna take, see there's a little bit of pink here and there's a little bit of pink here. Look at his little nugget nose. So I'm just gonna add in a little pink. Not much, but just a little bit. That might be too much. Just a little bit, because whatever color I see, I just added in a little bit. And then the rest of his little fingers, they look a little dark along the edges, so. And what I'm looking at here is this, and his little fingertips are darker. So I'm just, just use the reference and just making his fingertips a little darker. Looks like his nose is a little darker here. And I'll just give him a little bit of something there. A little bit here. And fade this in because it's a little further back. And I'm not really crazy about this bit, so I'm going to add in a little more of that. There we go, that looks better. I'm just adding a little bit more gray and not having such a pronounced, that beige that's on him. Just dialing that back a little bit. I'll add a little bit more darker. Give him some separation. He's definitely more beige here. You know what? For this guy, we're going to go, let's see. We're going to go with a more beiger color. Let's see what he looks like. Oops. Forgot to alpha lock it. Let's see what he looks like. If he is just a little more beiged out. It can even be a little lighter. It's actually not bad. Might want to even beige this guy up a little bit now. Kind of seeing how nice it looks. Give him some beige too. Kind of like it. Kind of feeling it. Okay, so now I'm going to do the skin underneath. Let's see. Start with this guy. Now it's a little darker, a little more, a little bit of a richer yellow. Alright, we'll give him a little bit of that there. Give him a little bit on his little butt. Oh no, am I not alpha locked? Dumb mistakes. I wasn't alpha locked, so I'm gonna alpha lock that one, and I'm gonna alpha lock this one, so I don't make a dumb mistake like that again. I have to start over, and I'm on the wrong layer. This is all normal, folks. These are the normal trials and tribulations that we all go through. I know, I'm sure you know what I mean. It's always something. Alright, let's go back to this pudgy little guy. And wait, what is this? Oh, that's the bottom part of his arm. That's right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little darker. I'm going to make it a little darker here. And a little darker here. But I'm going to... Oops. I was going to erase, but since I'm on this color layer, since I'm drawing right on that layer, I have to use the same color, sort of like an erase. But I want to make sure I have a nice flat erase brush. Of course, I did the same thing twice. So I'm just taking I'm taking my graffiti brush, which is just a hard airbrush, with the same color as this, and that's what I'm using for almost like an erase. So what I was doing is just matching the color that it was, but I'm making it darker there because when I go back and I add more of this yellowish color, oops. So I'm just switching back to an airbrush. I want that to be darker below. So adding some of this there. Make sure I'm on the right. Yeah. I just wanted that to be darker because that's underneath, this is underneath his arm. So if I go back, and it's a little easier than having to go like this and making the brush really small and then going like that. I mean, you can do it, but it's easier to just color it all in loosely and then erase it from the... You saw what I just did. Hopefully that makes sense. Alright, let me give him a little more down here. And I noticed that I didn't, let me un-alpha lock this. Select the whole body again, go back up to the gray, because I noticed that I did not, let me grab some of this gray color, and let me grab a brush that is not an airbrush. I noticed that I didn't color this in, this little gray bit. Okay. That's better. Alright, he can probably have a little more here, so let me make sure I take it off layer select, take it off selection, because I only had this guy selected, so I had to deselect that. Sorry, I just noticed I'm making like popping and weird noises with my mouth. I have to be conscious of everything when I'm in tutorial mode. Make a little here, put a little there. I'll switch back to the normal color and I'll use the same brush and just sort of back it off a little bit. You know, like I could do a lot and go like that, but I just use it to kind of bring it back a little bit if it's a little too much. Let's keep it subtle. Alright, so let me go back to this. Let me add a little more gray to that. And I'm going to go to this guy's body right here. And I'm just going to use my airbrush and just sort of give him a little bit of love there, a little bit of color. A little bit of color here. And you know what might work nice with these guys? You know, we'll give him a little color on his eye too. Since his eye's closed, we'll give him a little color there. Might look good to bring in some white and to just give him a little bit of, let me start with this guy. Give him a little bit of white here. It might look nice. Give this guy a little white. Just a little bit of white, like at their little bellies. Because this guy's very light here, so I just want to make sure he gets some pure white in there. Oops, not on the right layer. You'd think like eventually I'd notice drawing on a layer for like 5 minutes before I realize it's not the right layer. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this layer here, and I'm going to use erase, the soft brush, and I'm just going to make it pretty. So what I mean by make it pretty is, oops, it's a little heavy. So I use my eraser, big fat airbrush, whoops, and I'm sort of just going to like erase away those hard lines. You have to be careful not to, like I want to keep this, I don't want to really do that, so I have to make it small and just go around the edges of the parts that you want to soften up. And you don't want to, you just want to make sure you don't totally get rid of those values, but you just want to soften them up a little bit. Soften up this line. So basically just kind of makes it so they don't have such a harsh, you know, just kind of makes them a little soft, and makes their patterns on their face a little softer. I'll even lighten the whole thing up sometimes. And if it's not really lightening up the way that you want, just go to smudge, use the same airbrush, and then you can sort of manipulate. Let me make sure I'm on the right. Let me take it off alpha lock. I think that's what my problem was with the smudging. I had to take it off alpha lock. You know, so I'm just smudging around there, the color that's left, and even though it's very light, you can still see it. It still has an effect. Okay, so what do we want to do next? Let's see here. I'm going to add a little bit of, I'm going to go to his body. And I'm going to add a little bit more, and add a little something here. And then I'm going to add some white. I'm going to lighten this up a little bit. I'm going to lighten it up on him, this guy as well. Another thing that might be kind of cool is giving him just to bring in some of that white and kind of give them a little more separation. I might erase this, but I just want to see what it looks like. Alright, it's a little too much, but that's kind of nice. I kind of like that. Right now I'm just using the smudge, just so it's not super clean. Kind of like that, so I'm going to do it to this guy as well. So I'm going to take white again, and then I'm going to smudge around it. Oops, let me what do I want to do here? I'm going to just use smudge to fix my little errors. Yeah, I really like that actually. So I'm going to do it with this guy too. It just gives it a nice separation. It just like brings a little bit of attention to their little mouth. I actually do that with a lot of characters. Like if you notice, they have a different color muzzle. Bring some of this white up. Yeah, I like that. That looks really good. Okay, so where are we at now? So let me add a little bit of darkness to his fur. Let me alpha lock that again. I'll go to the darker gray. Airbrush. And let me just see if I can just give him a little shape. kind of darken up, bring him, like separate him from this. So I'm going to darken up all behind that. I think I want to put a little more brown into the, since he's a little browner, I'll add a little more brown to the shadows. But a lot of this is mostly just to separate these two. So I'm going to do the same with, even with that layer. Make my airbrush a little bigger so it's a little bit of a softer gradient. Oops, it's a little too much. So just like you would do like letters or anything, like whenever you have like a shadow, it just kind of separates. You know, you can tell that this guy's in front of this guy now. That might be a little too much. So I'm just going to dial it back. I think that's fine. I'm going to do the same thing with this guy. Make sure I alpha lock that layer again. And I'm just going to do this a little bit darker. He actually needs a little bit of darkness here. He needs a little bit of darkness there, and then we'll just a little darkness there, and then we'll do the same thing on his body layer. We'll just do a little bit here and a little bit here. Okay, that's not bad. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, so this guy, I'm going to... Okay, got my eraser. And we're just going to do the same thing. Let me make sure I'm on the right layer, because nothing's happening. There we go. We're just going to lighten these edges up. I'm just using my eraser with the airbrush. And I have the opacity not all the way up. Opacity is about halfway. Might be easier to just use the smudge. Let's see. Take an off alpha lock for smudge. Alright. I think smudge is a little easier. Have a little more control. I'm just making everything a little bit softer. So everything about these guys is like, you know, soft and cute. Alright. That looks pretty good. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to go I'm going to make a layer pretty low. Actually, no, I can't do that. Let's see. You know what? I'm just going to add the pink to their colored layers because I don't want it to be too far down. So I'll just take a regular, I'll use this one. Studio pen. Pink nose. And for this guy, take it off alpha lock. Pink nose. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now the only thing is they have a little bit of darkness around their nose. Actually, let's see, what did I do for this? Oh, so they all have a little bit of darkness. Let me make sure I'm on the right layer. They have a little bit of darkness, but then they have this little bit that goes up. In the middle. Make it really small for this little rascal. So you have a little bit of lightness that goes up in the middle. It could actually be a little lighter. So let me just... Part of me just wants me to merge all these. No, I'll leave them for now. Got that there, that there. I'm going to make it a little bit more... A little bit lighter. That's good. He actually has a little bit... I feel like he has a little bit of lightness here too. Excuse me, hopefully you couldn't hear that. Just add a little bit of lightness there. Alright, looking good. Looking good. Okay, so I'm going to go underneath. I'm going to go just a new layer, and I'm just going to work out this little mouth area. So I'm just going to use this regular studio pen, and I'm going to do, we'll see, nothing's happening. Wrong layer. So for mouths and stuff like that, let's do the whole thing in that darker color. Then I do the tongue. And then above that, I'll do the little teethies. Which I normally just, you know what? It's time consuming, but I'm gonna make this right. Because he doesn't need all these lines. Like I don't need those lines to like guide me for when I'm making the mouth. So because I don't, I'm just going to add the colors where they need to be. Oh, that looks pretty nice. So let me add one to... Actually, I can add it to them all. Give them a nice bottom lip. That looks weird. Why does his look so weird? Maybe because I made it super big. You know what? I need some black. I need to bring in some black to really... Oh God. Fix one thing and then you run into a bunch of other issues. Just going to erase some of this. Okay, that looks better. That looks much better. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm also going to give them a little pink. So I'm just going to use my airbrush. And give them all a little pink where their mouths are. Does that look weird? I feel like it looks weird. Maybe I need to go actual pink. Let's see. Oops. Where am I? Where am I? Oh, I'm on this guy. Yeah, it's about time to merge these because I keep drawing on the wrong layers. I'm not crazy about it. I want to, but maybe just where the mouth is. Let's see. Like, I feel like some needs to be there, but maybe it's just... Let me use the other color again. Okay, so maybe just a little bit like to complement their little lippies. There we go, that's a little better. It still looks a little bit funny, but I'm happy with it. Okay, so all I want to do is I just want to put a little bit of darkness for their little feeties. I wish all their feet were together. That way I don't have to keep switching layers. Oops, I hate when I do that. Alpha lock. This guy, alpha lock. Oops. Again and again, it is time. Oops. It is time to merge these. I'm hungry too. It definitely has an effect. Dark little fingertips. And we'll give him a little bit of darkness back here too. Alright, good. I think we're doing well. Okay, so let me just add some white to this guy's eyes. So I'm going up to the same layer that I did. his eyes. So we'll do that bit, and we'll make it really, really bright, and we'll go to a layer above, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do what we did before, which is I'll erase some of it, and I'll also need to erase some down here. So I'll just use Sketchmaster in erase mode, and I'll just make some movement so it looks like something is reflecting off of his eyes. I'm going to go back up to the bright one, go back to eraser, airbrush, doesn't need to be that strong, and just airbrush a little bit of that, just so it kind of, I need to lighten it a little bit more now. I want it to be really bright, but I also want it to be okay. Alright, that's not bad. I think they're looking good. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. So I'm going to merge them. Good, nothing changed. That's how I like it. Alright, so they are now one. I could add shadows, but I think I might just call it a day. I think they look pretty good. I'm going to go underneath and go underneath and just add this layer in. Okay, so what does this thing actually look like? I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I've spent a lot of time on this. So let's do Blackburn. Let's do... it looks kind of nice. Let's see if we can just get away with some. All right. See if I can. Just want to give it a little something, but not too. I don't want to go too crazy. I spent a lot of time on this already. What's another nice brush that maybe I can get away with some texture? No. Need some sort of like speckle. This is when you can go down the rabbit hole when you wind up doing like, you know, looking for certain textures. It's not bad. I'm going to go back to the original color. Actually, I'm going to go back to the original color. I'm going to make it a little lighter. And I'm going to merge these. And I'm going to... Oops. What brush am I on? Maybe I'll make that smaller. And just kind of give it some highlights. This brush is still so thick. I don't understand. And now we'll go make it lighter even still. And we'll use one of our faves brushes. What brush do I want to use? We'll go with Blackburn again. So hopefully we'll just to get some texture on it. Okay, so let's go a little bit darker and a little bit grayer. Make a layer above that. I'm going to try multiply. I don't usually use multiply, but I'm going to try multiply. People swear by multiply. So let's try it. I'm just going to try my soft brush. I basically just want to separate it out from them. Oh god, that was terrible. That was painful. I thought I had selected this and then that. So I'm just using a big airbrush, and I just have that dark brown color, and I'm just doing the brush just far enough away so that it catches the ends of the stick. Just making the ends just dark enough. Make it a little darker underneath. We'll go with a little darker down here, since that's the bottom. Alright, and now we'll go with even darker, and we'll go with graffiti brush. Perfect. So we're just going to go, we're still underneath. So I'm just using graffiti brush, and I lowered the opacity of this dark color. Just so I can give them some shadows. Okay. So the only thing that I feel like I need to add is these guys do need a little bit of... How long is this so far? I need to finish this up really soon. The only thing is they look like they have some little some cute little puffs where their little legs are. So I'm just going to do this really quick. Just some cute little subtle changes just where their legs are. Looks like there's a little something there, so not to be too... I want it to be subtle, because I didn't even really notice it till now, but I just want it to be there. And their little butts, I feel like... Let me go back to this color. Let's give it a little bit of like a shadow from the stick they're standing on. So I'm just going to select this, do another layer above, and this is going to look crazy. It's definitely going to look crazy, but I always do it. And this is basically just I might not use this, but I like to add in some shadow. For parts that might be a little darker. I might not use it, but we'll see. And the reason why I do it orange, let's see here. I have some under here. This would be all in shadow under here. And this would be shadow. Alright, I think we're looking good here. Shadow here. Give him a little bit of shadow under here. Give him a little bit of shadow here. Okay, so I might not use this, but let's see what we can do. And then I just play around with this. Something like that would be pretty nice. So let's see. That looks kind of nice. Let's see if I want to change the color of it. Blue is actually kind of nice too. I think I like the orange. So linear light, I like. So a little bit of linear light. Looks good. I'm just going to merge all these because it's almost that time to shut this down. 49 minutes. So I am going to just select this. I'm going to make a new layer above. I'm going to drop a color on top of everything. And I'm going to actually do the same thing. I'll do it. And I just want to kind of go through and see if there's anything that looks nice to me. Okay, so color burn actually looks kind of nice. Ooh, this looks very pretty. So what is that? Screen looks kind of nice. Oh, I do love this color too, though. This would be nice if it was like, you know, if I had a background and it was getting darker or something like that. That kind of makes them nice and warm. Let's check out screen again. And let's try a different color or temperature. So this would be almost like if you were doing a movie or taking a picture and you put a gel in front of it. It's sort of similar to that. The reason why I do it is because that's kind of nice. The reason why I do it is because it just changes the, and actually sometimes you can do this. Sometimes you can take another color and I actually liked the orange, so I didn't really see any difference. Let's see if we take something like green. I don't like the green, but let's see, let me make sure there's anything else I like. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. All right, so yeah, we'll call it a day. Of course I do it on the wrong layer, trying to be cool. Wrong signature. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. So I am going to draw some praying mantisae. I'm going to draw some of those because I got a lot of requests for them, and I'm also going to draw some more palace cats because people love them. I mean, I never realized. I thought posting it 3 times would be overkill, but it seems like people couldn't get enough of the palace cats, so I'm definitely going to draw some more of those furry rascals. All right, as always, keep drawing, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, so I'm going to continue with my simple coloring techniques, and I'm going to finish coloring in, cut.